All right, Automattic is doing open source dirty. Automattic demanding 8% of WP Engine's revenues because they're not giving back enough to WordPress is a wanton violation of general open source ideals and the specifics of the GPL license. Automattic is completely out of line, and the potential damage to the open source world extends far beyond the WordPress. Don't let the drama or its characters distract you from that threat. Let me give you a bit of background on why what DHH said is so important. First off, there's some things you must understand. It wasn't until 2024 that WordPress changed its terms of service to make WP like underneath the envelope of their trademark. Because for a long time, WP, in how it was described, was use as free as you would like for WP. So that means from what, 2005 to 2024, WP was just free for anybody to use. And then all of a sudden, it's not free anymore, and WP Engine is now being sued for 8% of the revenue. So that's kind of like the easiest, most specific answers, 0 to 60, on what is going on. The real question has to be, why is this happening now? They have not, oh, by the way, they have not officially trademarked it. You are right, but they say in their trademark / their terms of service that they are, in fact, now trademarking it. But I don't think that's true even in the slightest. So now that you kind of have at least the groundwork for what is basically happening, the drama around it is that a lot of people are obviously getting blocked. People are worried about their future with WordPress, and Automattic demanding 8%. At first, I didn't really quite understand this, and I didn't really get some of it. And I asked Matt, I actually have an interview with Matt, and I asked him why now, why not 10 years ago, why not any of these times has he done anything, why now? And he never really gave a great answer. He said that they weren't giving back enough, which I want to be completely real here. That is the entire purpose of open source. Is that open source, you put it out there, and when you put it out there and you say it's free for someone else to use, you cannot demand they give back. You do not have the right to demand anything back. And though, yes, we can say that Automattic is being somewhat good in the sense that they're saying, hey, you can give back by either engineering hours given to WordPress or by giving 8% of your revenue, you're going to say, okay, well, at least it's not like fully about the money. Okay, yeah, it's about maybe it truly is about giving back, but you don't get that right. When you put it out there under the license you put it under with the trademarks that you made, you don't get the right to demand people now give back now that there's $500 million. Yeah, WP Engine might not be a good open source patron, but that makes them dicks, not illegal activity. Yes, precisely. There's a huge difference between being a dick and doing something that is illegal or against trademark or against the license. So these threats, I actually do, as I've taken the time to think about this, I actually completely agree and have moved over to the position that DHH is now writing about, which is if they can make any leeway and any lawsuit actually does come forth and get fought and goes in the favor of WordPress, we are entering into a new world where open source is dead. Why would you ever use any open source product realizing that someone can change the license and then sue you for 8% of your money or some percent of it? It's crazy. Even if it's settled out of court, I think WP Engine should take them to court and then sue them for damages. I don't think it should be settled out of court unless if it's in WP Engine's favor and they can write about it. They need to go all the way. This is like Cloudflare going against patent trolls. They need to go all the way. You don't let people have room like this. You can't. I'm going to address this one comment. Why can't WP Engine just fork the stuff they want if they have the engineers, etc.? Stop complaining and write your own then or pay up. This has nothing, what you're saying is so far out of left field, you don't even realize. I honestly think you're trying to be a good citizen and you're just trying to say, hey, either do it this is someone's product, so either use the product according to the terms of services or just write your own, which I totally get, but this isn't that. This is like me saying, hey, you can have this for free. You can have this for free. Oh, you make money now? Actually, you owe me 8%. There's a huge, giant difference betwixt the two. Okay. Sorry, I had to get all those things out. A key part of why open source has been so successful over the last several decades is the clarity and certainty of its licensing regime, which allows you to build a business on open source without fear of frivolous claims or surprise shakedowns. This is a surprise shakedown. It's starting to sound, this is like it's actually like a mobster. Like, oh, you make a little money, huh? Hey, I'd hate to see you in court, buddy. The terms of the deal are spelled out in the license agreement, and the common ones like MIT, BSD, or GPL have all stood the test of time. The most important part of such a license is usually the fact that software is offered without any warranty, but some also include provisions that require any modifications to be released as open source as well. Yeah, that's some variant of GPL, right? GPL requires that if you use the software, this open source software, you are required to also release what you built on top of it as open source, if I am not mistaken. Right? GPL GNU plus Linux. Shut up. Dang it. None of the major licenses, however, say anything close to it's free, but only until the project owners deem you too successful, and then you have to pay 8% of your revenues to support the project. This is where things get real bad, right? That's completely bonkers and arbitrary standard based on a rule of spite, not law. Agreed. This is why licenses are important. This is why people who build businesses off things expect them to exist. But that's also why there's no warranty. See, here's the thing that people are missing out. Imagine that WP Engine hires all these people, starts working together, starts building up an entire service, and everything's going good. And then WordPress starts absolutely screwing everything up and completely making every release more and more unusable. And they're kind of having to go back and trying to patch and figure out what's happening. Security things are going out of control. Well, guess what? Sorry, no warranty. It's open source. You don't get the right to sue back. You don't get the right to sue me because I don't provide good quality stuff. Sorry, that's part of open source as well. I have no liability in this. I am releasing it because I've released this under a specific license, and you get to use it how you wish to use it. Right? That's that. Yes, a lot of companies, yeah, people say source available. So I've been trying to make the distinction between open source and public source. I release a lot of things as public source, but I don't release things, I don't do open source, right? I don't do contributions and everyone coming along. No, I just do public source. If you would like to look at what I've worked on, you can. And that's that. And I typically make all my stuff MIT or good luck with that shit license, no LLMs, right? But whatever my feelings about private equity in general or Silver Lake's management of WP Engine in particular, I care far more about the integrity of open source licenses, and that integrity is under direct assault by Automattic's grotesque claim for WP Engine's revenue. Agreed. Blaming private equity is just such a room temperature IQ take. And you see it constantly across the internet right now, which is just like, oh yeah, but I mean, private equity is bad. Am I right? And it's just like, not all private equity is bad. Okay. I did skip a section. We'll go back and we'll read this. My bad. Not all private equity is bad. It's just a fact of life. You cannot universally say they're all evil. Just like not all venture capitalism is in fact just completely evil, though its primary purpose is to make money. Venture capital allows plenty of people who could not start a business to start a business. Private equity allow plenty of companies who could not take it to the next level. So there's plenty of okay things about it. And you just got to understand that that part is fine. I love the fact that someone who does not have a shot to be able to go full-time plus hire people can actually go full-time and hire people. I think that is a good thing for society, and I think that's great for individuals. But it also leads to shitty behavior. WP Engine, not that great, right? They don't really give back. They claim they give back by sponsoring events, but let's all be real. You sponsor events not because you're giving back. You sponsor events because you want people to give you more money. You believe that the money you're putting in is going to generate more money out. That's it. I don't even have a dog in this fight. Only a set. Oh, by the way, I'm rereading a thing before. I don't even have a dog in this fight. Only a set of principles. If anything, I'd be naturally inclined to be on Team WordPress. Between creating one of the most widely used open source programs and powering half the internet, there's every tribal reason to side with Automattic over WP's Engine private equity owners at Silver Lake. But whatever my feelings about private equity in general or Silver Lake's management of WP Engine in particular, I care far more about the integrity of open source licenses, and that integrity is under direct assault by Automattic's grotesque claim claim for WP Engine's revenue. Yes, yes, and yes. It is more outrageous that Automattic has chosen trademarks as their method to get their Al Capone, when up until 2018, they were part owners of WP Engine before selling their stake to Silver Lake. Oh, I did not know that. Whoa. So that's something I did not know. I did not realize that WordPress actually owned WP Engine. That I'm not going to say that changes everything, but it certainly makes a big difference. Right? That is a big difference in what is going on here. And so there you go. Pressable is in fact owned by Automattic, and then they turn off updates to the WP Engine. Like, this is pure like mobster level behavior. Completely turn everything off for you, make it so that you can't do business effectively, and then show that you have an alternative hosting platform that provides the exact same things that they do. I don't know if that is, I'm not even sure if that's legal, right? I don't know the legality of it, but I don't even have to know the legality of it to say that it's horrible. Oh my gosh, they actually made the situation worse by saying it was their intention to help WordPress. Dude, you are owned by the company that made the situation for your direct competitor. Like, what do you mean you tried to make the situation better? This is actually worse. All right, and yet I can see where this is coming from. Ruby on Rails, the open source web framework I created, has been used to create businesses worth hundreds of billions of dollars combined. Some of those businesses express their gratitude and self-interest by supporting the framework with dedicated developers, membership of the Rails Foundation, or conference sponsorships. But many do not, and that is absolutely their right, even if it occasionally irks a little. Yeah. Honestly, DHH probably is the most qualified person on earth to speak to this. Not only is he experiencing what WordPress is experiencing, but he is experiencing it at a level that is like greatly larger than probably WordPress itself, right? Like, he actually is he directly experiences this. Linus would also be another amazing person to speak on this, right? On earth, really? I don't know. It's hard, right? Because yeah, I guess you could argue, okay, fine, you're right. Linus is probably the best person on earth to be able to talk about this exact problem, right? Fine, granted. That's the deal. That's open source. I give you a gift of code. You accept the terms of the license. There cannot be a second set of shadow obligations that might suddenly apply if you strike it rich using the software. Then the license is meaningless, the clarity is all muddled, and the certainty is lost. Agreed. WP Engine must win. And it must win not because I want WordPress to lose. I want open source to win. Look, Automattic can change their license away from GPL at any time they wish. The new license will only apply to the new code, though, and WP Engine or anyone else are eligible to fork the project. That's what happened with Redis after Redis Labs dropped their BSD license and went with a commercial source available alternative. Valkey was forked from the last free Redis version, and now that's where anyone interested in open source Redis implementation is likely to go. But I suspect Automattic wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want to retain WordPress's shine of open source, but also to be able to extract their pound of flesh from any competitor that might appear whenever they see fit. Screw that. WP Engine must win. He's absolutely right, and I think he gives one of the most fair takes in the sense that he likes WordPress. He wants WordPress to win as far as WordPress goes. But this particular action is just not okay. That's just wishful thinking. Trademarks and patents still exist, and they are not captured by all copyright licenses. Fair. That is very, very true. But the problem is that if anybody would love to go to the Wayback license, the Wayback Machine, and get me the exact license terms before the change, I'd be glad to throw that up there. But the previous licenses said WP is free for anyone to use however they see fit. Approximately what it said. So, when it says that for multiple decades and people build businesses off that assumption, you can't just change that, including in trademark, right? Like, you can't just change your trademark. That's not even how trademark law works. I only know bird law, okay? I only know bird law. I'm not that great at law in general. But there ain't no way. The missing key factor here is in Matt's argument that WP Engine purposely led users to believe they are affiliated with WordPress by using WordPress as well as WooCommerce, not WP, in their product names and offerings. Yes, now that is something that he can and he should be able to do something about. But his big thing is he's mentioned WP many times and included changing the trademark or their terms of services by just all of a sudden magically including WP. Harvey Birdman, a.k.a. the Primegen attorney at law. Exactly. You can't just do that, right? You can't just change things. Where's the one? Where's the part where it talks about WP? Let's see. The abbreviation WP is not covered by the WordPress trademarks, and you are free to use it in any way you see fit. Would anybody... Let's see. Okay, good. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to copy that. In any way you see fit. Now, remember, that's not that long ago. Now look at what it says. I mean, that was this year they've made this change, by the way. The abbreviation WP is not covered by the WordPress trademarks, but please don't use it in a way that confuses people. For example, many people think WP Engine is WordPress Engine and officially associated with WordPress, which it is not. See, like I'm sorry, but you can't say this and then go to this, right? Like that's just not how it works. You can't have someone build a business that becomes $500 million and then go, ooh, wait a second, and then specifically call out WP Engine. Again, there's so many different ways in which we could say why Matt could have done it better. Let me just give you something. If Matt Mullenweg, during his big talk on, what was it, September 24th or whatever it was, came out and said, hey, WP Engine has been making hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're just not giving back to the community. I really think us as a community need to send them a clear signal that either they need to really become active members in this community, or we need to simply divest from them. Now, it's up to you, WordPress community, to vote with your dollars. Please, if you can, choose any other platform, right? Like, that'd be one thing, and I would get that. I think everybody would actually get behind them. I completely believe that's true, that a lot of the WordPress community would have got behind Matt and said, absolutely, I think that he is right, that WP Engine is making a ton of money from us, and they're just not really giving back. And we want to have a community that wants open source to be great. But the problem is he didn't do that. He said, give me 8% or I'm going to nuke you out of from orbit, which is just so much different. One is motivating the community to make a good decision. The other one is trying to motivate the company with threats of extortion. Those are very different. By the way, the extortion, for those that don't know, he literally texted effectively, to put it into very small words. So I'm obviously taking a huge license here, but it effectively said 8% or else. I believe he even used the term or else directly. It was that bad. I might have just accidentally verbatim quoted exactly what he said. He might have included the word nuclear in there, 8% or else nuclear. Right? That's crazy, right? The thing that confuses me about the whole WordPress situation is, how did you not see the community loves you? Right? How did you not see that? How did Matt not realize he had so much community momentum behind him and he could have easily shifted the community into something else? To sum everything all up, DHH, again, is correct about everything. I think that open source has to win. WP Engine has to win despite the fact that we don't like what they do. They have to win for the sake of everybody. They have to win such that licenses have to be respected and open source has to be a gift in which you can rely on the license to be able to start a business on top of that. And that's it. The end. No changing it at all. No take backsies. No oopsie doopsies. That's it. It's just the way it has to be. And then afterwards, the best part about this is that afterwards, after WP Engine wins and everybody claps, then you can just choose an alternative platform that's different, and you can say, hey, WP Engine, we don't like what you're doing. Hey, we actually do think you should give back. You can still do that also, right? You can do both things at the exact same time. You can actually hold two things in your head that seem to be, what's it called? Contradictory. Bad take. Let us know. All right. Let us know. You have to say why. WP Engine has to lose. Why? Tell me tell me why. And it better be. It better be good, because you are literally going to destroy all of open source. Now, the thing that WP Engine can lose on is that they had a product called WP, they had a product called like WordPress blank. And you could say, absolutely, they should have to lose on that one. They renamed it and got away from it. So if they got away from it, I'm not exactly sure if there's some sort of past damages that they can be sued for or whatever. I understand that. Headless WordPress. I'm not sure if that's against the terms. The hard part is I'd have to go look at it, the exact terms, because that's the tricky part, is that there's these weird things that involve trademark terms that are like, you can't use WordPress blank, but you can use this. Is there any sort of substantial things? WordPress wordmark. Let's see. Okay, so you just simply can't use WordPress. So yeah, there you go. Then yeah, that would be absolutely right. Then you could try to sue them over that one particular thing, but that is different. What is headless CLI? I don't know. I think that's fine. You can say that they can lose to that specific thing on that specific item. But to say that WP Engine itself, WP being in violation, it's not. WP has never been in violation. Now, these sub ones that you can most certainly say. Now, that's fine. I won't agree. I won't disagree with that one at all. I don't think you should sane wash what he did as honest. He was dodgy and being duplicitous in both interviews, saying stuff like, I had lunch meetings when you constantly asked direct questions to the point of your question. Yes, that part is fair. But he also at least went on and asked, he went on and tried to ask. I think DHH is wrong. He doesn't understand that the code is open source, free to do whatever. They are only blocked in WP.org, which is like the iStore of WordPress. They have TOS there. Yeah, that's an interesting one. As far as the whole blocking on WP or on WordPress.org, that one is much more hairy. I think WordPress can do that. I don't think there's any. As far as I can tell, I don't know if there's like a license agreement that they have to accept any company. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. And so that one's at least a lot more interesting, right? So, also, I am completely not being able to block from servers is scary. Yes, it is scary, which means that you should just never build a business on top of WordPress. That's all it means, is that WordPress is an unusable platform. That's how I would look at it, is that WordPress is not usable. If they're willing to block, then yeah. They blocked the guy who built WordPress API on. I know I saw that, which is crazy. I am a WordPress developer for 12 years. I remember from day one that we had to be careful with the fact that Automattic has the WordPress trademark, and we only word about it. Okay, well I would assume you'd have to be careful. If I were if I were another host, I would be looking at contingency plans. Yeah. So that's the crazy part. Anyways, okay. Looks like I think one really obvious fact is that I am not a lawyer and I have absolutely no idea anything about this. But I will say that I don't want the ability to just simply change how you feel about a company out of nowhere. Like, there's something inherently wrong about that, and I do hope that they are able. Like, I hope WP Engine wins on the things that make sense for that entire sake, that they win because of, like, that we shouldn't allow companies just to swivel on a dime and now say these things. Also, I think that I honestly think that WordPress turning off the access to WP Engine for updating, I would personally just never use WordPress because of that. Like, I actually think that WordPress is a bad thing now, because that means that they can turn off your ability to use WordPress as a company whenever they see fit. They don't treat people. It's not like NPM. They now do that. Potential collab with Legal, let's go. Like, to me, that just sounds like, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever put your lot in with a company that can do that? That they sit there and they secretly hold a bunch of things that they can pressure you into giving you money. Right? They can just literally sit there and just wait. And when they realize that you're in a vulnerable position, they can just turn you off. Like, to me, that is more terrifying for any other reason to use it. Right? Like, imagine NPM just starting to turn off every major company's ability to update or download anything until they paid them money. Right? Like, that's evil empire vibes. Great, even Mike. That's you must suspect any other company. Let's see, that does open software. I know, crazy. You mean extort? Yeah, it's practically extortion. I don't see how that's not extortion. NPM could do that, right? NPM technically could do that. And if they did that, nobody would ever use it. Like, nobody should ever use NPM ever again. All right, let's move on. The end.